Welcome to the Pal Bros Movie Reviews, brought to you by our supporters at Patreon. Our reviews are more than just reviews. We are here to build the new Christendom by exposing the bad writers, money lovers, and sexual perverts found in Hollywood. Continue listening to know what type of content we as Christians should be consuming and what we should stray away from. This is the Pal Bros Movie Reviews. If you wish to support us in our mission, head over to patreon.com/thepalbros or follow the link in the show notes. There you'll gain access to our exclusive show, the Pal Bros Mini Reviews, as well as early access to both movie chronicles and movie reviews by the Pal Bros. And now, on with the show. 2 years after 2003's Daredevil, we get a spin-off featuring one of the prominent characters in that film. She's an assassin created to kill and do what she is told without question or pain or feeling. But what if she does? Can those things truly be suppressed? In this infamous movie, we juggle some of the deep topics presented and see some of the good things found in what's generally considered a bad film. Keep listening to hear our review of Elektra. Alright, welcome back to the Pal Bros Movie Reviews. We are here again, as always, with another episode for you guys, another review. I am Tobiah Powell, one of your hosts, joined with your other host, Trent. Trent, how you doing?
Doing well.
Good.
Excited for another episode. Keep on rolling through season 1.
Yep. We are in 2005 now, so we are quickly in and out of 2004 with...
we're already up to 2005, okay.
With Spider-Man 2 and Blade Trinity, in and out of 2004 and into 2005.
Do you know what other superhero movie came out in 2005? Not
Because,
Marvel.
yeah, Man-Thing.
Well, Batman Begins.
Oh, yeah.
At least I think it was 2005. Yeah,
Wow.
2005. So compare the movie we just watched to
Yes.
what DC was doing.
Yeah, I was gonna give you the thought of like this is only 3 years before Iron Man came out, so
Yeah, I know.
3 years in the film industry is not a lot. Like if a movie's 3 years apart, they should be relatively similar quality.
True, but I also feel like the 2000s, between 2000 and 2010, was such a drastic change in film.
For sure.
And then we hit plateaued after 2010, I feel like, and now it's like movies aren't much better than they were 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Or 15 years ago.
Yeah, for sure.
At least visually. But this one also had a really low budget, so.
Yeah. Yeah, so we are reviewing Elektra.
Elektra, because everyone wanted a sequel to Daredevil.
Without Daredevil.
Without Daredevil.
Yeah. For the longest time, I didn't even know this movie even existed. I mean,
really?
I probably found out, like, I don't know, not very long ago. Within the last, 5 to 10 years.
Oh, yeah, sure.
I mean, it's been around for 20-something, so almost 20 years now, so.
Oh, wow. That's wild.
It's probably, yeah. I probably found out about it, 5 years ago.
Okay.
But, anyway, this is my first time watching it. I'm pretty sure it's your first time watching it.
First time, last time.
Yeah. So there's a lot to unpack in this movie. And not to turn anybody away from it right away with Trent's comments. There's
What
goods
comments?
and bads with everything, like always. So,
What?
yeah.
Do you want me to tell you what I think about it?
Yeah, sure. What was your initial thoughts?
I expected this. I had very low expectations going into this. I didn't like Elektra and Daredevil. I didn't like Daredevil. And then when I found out they were doing this movie, or when I heard about this movie and I heard we were going to be watching this movie, I was like, okay, well, this is kind of garbage. Like, I'm not really looking forward to this at all, and I don't really know what to I didn't know what to expect. I expected it to be pretty bad. And I would say it actually exceeded those expectations because they were so low, but this movie has a lot of problems. And I feel like the pacing was just odd, the acting was awful, the dialogue was, I mean, we need to put together a list of as we're doing superhero movies of worst dialogue superhero movies. I mean, Howard the Duck, Madam Web, this one, and even Daredevil was pretty bad too. But then again, it's like
Yeah.
even Spider-Man, like Spider-Man 1 and 2 were
Yeah.
like also kind of cheesy, but not, I think, in a different way. Like they weren't as bad as this one. Granted, I just watched Spider-Man 2 again because it was in theaters and I got to go see it with my oldest son, which was a cool experience. But like Tobey Maguire, I don't think it was his acting necessarily, but a lot of the lines in that movie were just actually pretty bad. Like mostly his interactions with Kirsten Dunst, with Mary Jane. But anyways, this movie as well will take kind of, I don't know if it takes the cake, but the dialogue's pretty rough. Story was
sure.
kind of all over the place. Like there's a lot. I feel like there's a lot that happened, but then again, not a lot happened, and the pacing was just odd and not much. I mean, they tried to give her some character development, and they kind of did, but I thought it was pretty weak. So yeah,
Yeah, for
I
sure.
didn't like this movie. I don't know. What did you think?
Yeah, pretty similar. Yeah, I don't think there's a lot that happened. I think it's the other way around. I mean, not a lot happened. It was pretty slow, but it wasn't like, I think the pacing was off. Like I don't think they handled it super well, but it wasn't like terrible. It wasn't okay, it wasn't paced like a superhero movie at all. I don't even think this movie is a superhero movie. Actually, I mean, it didn't handle itself like a superhero movie at all. So don't like go into this movie expecting the pacing of a superhero movie, because it's definitely not paced like a superhero movie. It's paced like a action drama. I mean, that's essentially what this movie is an action drama, but it's also paced like that. And because most of this movie, she's running away. Like this is like a on the run kind of movie. Like the whole time she's like on the run because she's was like a part of the organization or whatever that like she was like with to kill people or whatever as a hit woman. And then she was getting away from that kind of, and then she met the guy and the daughter, and
She wasn't getting away from it though.
yeah.
She was literally. Oh well. Was this good? Wait, sorry, maybe not. Was this going to be her last case? Was that the deal? Or
I think something like that, yeah.
Maybe you're right. Well, because she was contracted to kill this dad and daughter.
Yeah. I don't think
So
I don't think it was her last. I don't think it was supposed to be her last one.
okay.
She did get contracted to do that, and it was supposed to be like a big hit and lots of money. And I
Right.
think she was kind of planning to leave after that, but like it
Oh
wasn't
yeah,
like
she was reluctant.
it wasn't like
Reluctant
a
to take it.
mutual. It wasn't a mutual thing. It's more like her because she was struggling with like what she was doing and how it was wrong and how she wasn't satisfied in it and all that and so we go through that for most of the movie is like her reluctance to do this and then I think it was like 35 minutes into the movie is when she meets the guy and his daughter, and then that was kind of like the catalyst for her where she kind of decided like she wants to turn away from it. But then later on it was like she hadn't fully decided, and I thought that was kind of weird. I thought like, the writers needed to make a decision for her because she wasn't really making a decision, and it was kind of back and forth. Like when you properly write something at that moment, that catalyst moment, like that's when she should have decided one way or the other, and not
Right.
after that, because it kind of seemed like she made a decision, but then she was like going back to like she was aiming the bow and arrow at them. Like I was like, oh, I thought she decided to not do this anymore, and so then she was like still trying to fight with it and trying to decide like if she should or not, and so it's just very confusing as far as that went. And I just felt like they should have made a decision. She should have made a decision at that moment because that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're spot on. And I think when I say like there's a lot that happened, I'm more referring to the fact that like you have this kind of high table who's contracted her, or well, I'm still kind of confused by the whole plot, but or the hand contracts her to go. No, no, yeah, was it the hand that contracted her to go kill this guy? I mean, we find out later that it was Stick.
Right. Well, it's because there's two parts of the hand. There's two
Okay,
organizations with the hand. There's like the
right. So
hand,
you
and
have
then the son that has his own like little X-Men team or whatever. And
right, and then you introduce these new like villains who are gonna go kill her, but then she's meeting up with this. She meets this guy and his daughter, and then they have those interactions, and then they find out they need to go on the run because she was gonna kill him, and then they go on the run, but they're getting chased by these guys, but then they eventually go and meet the hand, and then they have the interactions with Stick, and then eventually you find out that the girl was actually the weapon. Well, you find out that there is a weapon that they're trying to get, and then find out this girl is the weapon, and that she's a super powerful girl boss teenager. But and then we're also following the villain who's wanting to kill Elektra because he's like, I don't know. Yeah, whatever. I don't know. I just feel like there was a lot of like moving pieces and a lot of things kind of happening while at the same time like it wasn't a whole lot because you're right, she's on the run like the whole time. There isn't like there is a plot for the most part, but
yeah, there's a lot of there is definitely a lot of scattered nonsense happening.
yeah, and then you find out that Stick
with
is
all the
actually
different
one
groups. Like there's like
right.
5 different groups of people running
Right.
around doing stuff.
I think that's why I
Yeah.
was like
Yeah, no,
kind
for
of
sure. Yeah, no,
felt really
you're right.
convoluted and all over the
Yeah.
place, but
Yeah, having
at the
the
same
two
time,
having the conflict with like the father and son on the hand side, like that was just so unnecessary. Like they should have
right.
just had one group of bad guys and not 2 different group of bad guys that were having conflict within each other, and just all this stuff that just was making this pretty short movie full of a mess.
Right.
It definitely wasn't like the most coherent story like at all. Like it was hard to follow along. I did struggle with that. I was just kind of like when I was watching, I was just kind of like focusing on what she was doing and
Yeah.
what her goals were, and so like that kind of helped me to just know like, okay, yeah, she's just trying to get away from all this nonsense and all these bad guys. And but like I mean, that wasn't like why she was leaving, because it was a jumbled mess. No, that was just the bad writing. It was that she, was having to kill people and didn't have any family or anything or anybody to be with her.
Yeah. I don't know, do you want to I guess kind of segue off that, talk about her more about her motivations and her development as a character?
Yeah, for sure.
Because like what we start off the movie, well, first off, she's supposed to be dead. She's not.
Yeah.
Well, and like they do this kind of whole thing where she's like a legend now, like the at the beginning that I can't remember who it was, but it was some bad guys that were like terrified of her and like pretty much saying, all right, well, we're screwed. Like, it's like it's just, it felt odd. I don't know. It just like didn't feel like it was earned. It's just this woman that beat up a few guys a handful of years ago and then died and was somehow alive. We're like a terrified of her. Whatever. I don't know. It was weird. But yeah, so she comes back alive. I mean, I understand this happens in comic books all the time, but it also happens with like every single character. But for some reason, they felt a need to resurrect her to make this movie. So like, not only did they decide we're gonna make an Elektra movie based off from this movie that didn't do really well, that was not critically acclaimed, that didn't do very well in the box office. We're gonna take this one character from that movie and make a spin-off movie of her. Oh, and she's dead, so we're gonna bring her back to life, and it's this whole thing was a mess from the beginning. But anyways, they bring her back to life, and then she's pretty like stone cold and like kind of hard-hearted at the beginning. I honestly thought that was just going to be her character through the whole movie, so I was like, I guess surprised when they actually changed her and gave her some development. Though I didn't feel like it was earned very well. But she's, kind of she's closed off from the world. She's working as a hitman, or a hit woman, and she's contracted to kill this guy and his daughter. She meets them, or she moves into this house in order to do that, and she meets them, and she's about to kill him, but she has a change of heart.
Wait,
I don't know.
Because we watched two different versions. Did
Right.
in the version you watched, did she know that they were her target? Did she know that the whole time when she moved in?
I think so. Oh no! Sorry.
No, yeah.
You're right.
She
She
goes
did not
in
know.
and meets them and gets close with them and likes them, and
Right.
then she gets
then
told
she
that
gets
that's who she's supposed to kill, and
Right.
then
She's
she's
told that's who she's
surprised
supposed to
and
kill.
doesn't want to. Yeah.
Right. Okay, that's it. But she's like, wasn't it like a bow and arrow?
Yeah.
That was what she okay. So she, pulls back the bow and she's like about to kill him, but chooses not to. So she has that internal conflict. So she chooses not to, and then of course she, pretty much gets in trouble for that. And
Yeah.
whatnot. I don't know. You want to take it from there? Like I said, I feel like she was very unlikable from the beginning.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I guess we're supposed to like her because she chose not to kill them, not to do the job that she was being paid to do.
Yeah. No, for sure. They definitely didn't have a save the cat moment or anything for her before that. That's why because that was her big moment of oh, she's choosing to do good, which was pretty far into the movie, maybe 40 minutes in or something, 45. And they just didn't put a save the cat moment in at the beginning to make us like her. And then we're supposed to be oh, she did the right thing right there. And now we're supposed to like her. And it just didn't really work.
Right, because they make it clear that she's a killer. She's going around killing people.
Yeah.
She's a gun for hire.
Yeah, and they never showed anything before that oh, she might have a change of heart. She might change. She might choose to do the right thing. There was nothing that made us think that she actually could do the right thing. It was just know that she's a killer and she doesn't have a second thought about it. But yeah, we do just kind of we do see she does have that struggle with doing it, and we do see that before that, I think. But I can't think of a moment where she's struggling with the fact that she is a killer. So I guess it's not that she doesn't have a thought about it. So she does have thoughts about it, but we don't see her make have a moment where we're oh yeah, she's good. We just see her just kind of trying to run away from the whole life, and nothing really shows us that other than she's trying to run away from it.
And then they bring in this male protagonist and his daughter to kind of have that conflict, give her that conflict and that draw, because if she hadn't met them before, she probably would have just killed him.
Yeah.
But because she met them, because there was kind of a connection, this daughter really liked her, and they're I guess the daughter had broken into the house and whatnot, so that's where that connection was.
Mm-hmm.
And the dad goes and apologizes and but meets her and stuff. So they are brought into the story to give her that conflict and that pull back to, or that pull out of the, crime world and the bounty hunting world that she was caught up in. Did they even explain why she was being contracted to go kill people, why she was doing that?
I mean, other than I think they were talking about how I might have gotten confused, honestly, because Elektra's story, she's created by the hand, she's created as a weapon by the hand. So I think I was getting confused when they were talking about her, about the other girl as a weapon. I was thinking it was her. So I don't know. Is this Elektra? Was she made by the hand at all? Was she resurrected by the hand?
She was resurrected by the hand. I'm pretty certain.
Okay, so she is kind of like a weapon made by them to go and kill, and just with pretty all much. The mess of the bad guys, I don't know who's in charge of who, but I think somehow the hand is in charge, and it just kind of works its way down to them controlling Elektra. But they were the hand. I remember they were trying to get. They were worried that Elektra was. Oh wait, no. Okay, so I think I'm just getting confused by who they were talking about. If they were talking about Elektra or the other girl.
Sure.
Because they said at one moment that, like, if somebody else is going to have the weapon, then nobody should have or if we can't have the weapon, then nobody should have the weapon. So we need to kill her. And I think that's when like the arguments happened and stuff with the bad guys, and
I think so.
It was just a big old mess.
Yeah,
it was very hard to follow along.
They just did too much in a movie with a story that not very many people really cared about, and you didn't give us much reason to really care about the story once you started the movie. So
yeah, for sure.
I don't know. That's what it is.
I mean,
yeah. Go ahead.
I really don't have. I mean, if you can continue on, I don't have much else to talk about that part of the story. I mean, we can kind of move on to the next section. I mean, unless you have something.
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess furthering her development. You know, you see, a lot of change throughout the film as she's, being, having to save and protect this girl and her father and as they're on the run. So, and like she starts slowly opening up throughout the film, and where she's starting to get closer to them. Yeah. And I felt a lot of it was kind of I felt it was artificial. It wasn't super earned. It was just like we'll just give her a couple of scenes of where she has to kind of slowly open up to them, and just do that multiple times, but then you also have all the conflict that she has with Stick, and how Stick was the one that sent her to kill him, and then when we find out that the girl was lying to her about having these abilities and being the weapon and everything, and so you have just a lot of kind of dishonesty all around, but they're learning to trust each other throughout the film, and I mean it wasn't terrible. It wasn't great though.
Huh. I guess I didn't realize that Stick sent Elektra to kill.
He was the one that so this is where it was honestly really dumb. Stick is the one that contracted her to go kill the dad and girl, but apparently it was a test because he knew she wouldn't do it, and it was in order to get her to turn good, because you have that have that line at the beginning of the movie where he's talking about good and evil and how some people are evil, some people are good, and it was just really generic and whatnot. And so it's about this conflict. The movie is kind of, it's about her finding her moral compass in a sense, where she is learning how to, now that she's been reborn to be a weapon for the hand. But she knows that that's not the life she wants, and so she has that conflict throughout the film. And Stick is playing 4D chess to try to get her to turn good, I guess. But that also goes back to her past, because we get a lot of flashbacks, which I also felt like really took us out of the story and that weren't super helpful. But you get her you hear about her past, how Stick saw her potential, or no, what did he say? I think he saw that she was too powerful, or because you have a scene where she's like doing some training with Stick and a bunch of the other students, and she's kicking all the guys' butts. Like she's super girl boss and able to beat up all these other guys. And she thinks that she's, doing the right thing, and, she's showing her potential, and she's going to earn Stick's favor, but instead Stick banishes her. Yeah. He said, your training's done, because she wasn't learning the lesson that she needed to learn, and that, like, it's not about how powerful you are, or it's about, I think it's about the character of your heart or something. I think he saw that struggle, or I don't know. I don't remember, and I didn't really get it, I guess. But
Yeah.
But she comes back to Stick, and she's like trying to find out why he sent her away, but then also finds out that he kind of tested her with this, sending her to go kill this guy and the girl who's the weapon, knowing that she wouldn't do it, or hoping she wouldn't do it, to test her. So it was odd, and it was an unnecessary twist that literally meant nothing.
Yeah.
At least from my perspective.
Yeah, there really was a lot going on, and it just didn't make sense. But to kind of move on, so she does end up towards, like I said, it was weird, like that she kind of made that decision that she didn't want to be a part of them, and then but she eventually decides like she really doesn't want to be a part of them, or does she? She does.
Part of what?
That she wants to, go away from that assassin life.
Yeah.
And so she kind of, when the son of the bad guy is coming after them, I guess she doesn't make the decision till the end of the movie. But I'm trying to transition into the third act. I'm just doing terrible at it, but
that's okay.
the son, so because
you still did better than how they did it.
There's just so much going on, and like, so we have the son of the bad guy, who we end up finding out was the person that killed her mother, and so then there's like flashbacks for that, and just a lot going on like towards the end to make us like have that connection between her and the bad guy. I thought that was so dumb. I'm like, there doesn't need to be a connection, but they're giving us one anyway.
Wasn't her mom like just another girl boss, like super powerful?
I have no idea.
I think she was.
I don't know.
Also, like, I feel like they tried to give Elektra like powers and stuff throughout the film, but I feel like we're really inconsistent. Well, for one, she's able to, for some reason, raise the dead, because the girl, the weapon, the teenager, she dies.
Oh yeah.
And then Elektra's able to bring her back to life, I guess.
Yeah.
Because that's something she can do.
And then Elektra can see into the future, like, all the time.
Oh yeah, right. I don't know much about her in the comics, so maybe that's consistent with her character. I don't know, but
yeah, I don't know.
But it wasn't. It was because wasn't there like a dumb line in the movie that had something to do with her saying that she can see in the future?
I think so.
I don't know. A lot of the exposition was just really bad.
Yeah.
Mostly unnecessary and a little too much. Which Anders said at one point, like, I've died once, or I've already died before, or something like that.
Yeah. So yeah, they were just trying to make us kind of care a little more, I guess, about the final fight. And I mean, it was all right. I don't know. What do you have to say about it? I guess just the whole third act.
Yeah, Yeah, you're right. They tried to add some emotional weight to it. This is the man who killed her mother and ruined her life. And then he's trying to kill this girl that she now cares about. She has a connection to. So, yeah. I mean, I'm trying to remember what was kind of the Dark Night of the Soul. Would it technically have been when the girl died? Well,
no. Well, so there was a moment when the bad guy was winning.
Yeah.
And during the fight, and then she has like a vision or whatever, and she sees the girl, the daughter, and a couple other flashes, but then they lead to she has like some flash memories of like some other things, and then she has the memory of or she thinks of with her, I don't know, like with her futuristic vision or whatever, she sees the daughter, and then that gives her like the
will to move forward.
Yeah, the will to move forward, and then she stabs the guy, like jumps really fast or whatever, and then she stabs him in the chest. And but he was like winning, about to kill her, and then that all happened, and then she stabs him. It's like, okay, I mean, I guess her character development was going from like a heartless assassin to thinking in a motherly sense, I guess.
Yeah, that's kind of what I sort of got from it.
Yeah.
She's a desire to a nurturing side to her that she's experiencing and seeing and knowing and learning about, and she now cares for this girl that she really didn't care about early on in the film. Like, she was kind of annoyed by her. She didn't open up to her, but then that slowly changed throughout the film, and then by the end, she's willing to sacrifice herself for her and whatnot. So.
Yeah. And that really was about it. Like, there wasn't any other closure anywhere else. There wasn't any closure between, like, the father and son of the bad guys. The hand is still around. Like, the hand isn't ruined. They're still going off doing their own thing. The assassin organization is still going. Right. Like, there's just no other closure anywhere else. I think she does end up, like, she doesn't even stay with them, does she? She ends up leaving them, right? The father and daughter. Like, she doesn't even stay with them. So,
she decides to go off on her own to keep living the, not assassin life, but, to be a superhero, pretty much.
Yeah.
Go fight evil.
So, even that, there wasn't, like, closure with her and the father and daughter. And
no.
And so then the movie just kind of ended with nothing really getting fixed.
That was it. Yep. Well, that's it for you all.
Yeah. There's one scene, I don't know if you remember it, where this guy, he's like captured or whatever, and then he breaks his own neck just by turning his head.
Yeah, I was sitting there thinking, like,
he literally just turned his head
possible?
And broke his neck, like, without using his hands, because his hands were tied up and his legs were tied up, and so he turns his head to break his neck.
Is that possible?
No.
I don't think it is. I was watching, I saw that, and I was like, what? What in the world? Did he just do that?
Yeah. Oh, and then there's that one guy at the house or the cabin or whatever that sacrificed himself. I should have wrote down more of the details. I didn't write down all the details. I thought I would remember, but I'm not remembering. But where he has them go ahead and he stays behind.
Yeah.
And I can't remember why it was pointless, but for some reason it was completely pointless because, what was it? Oh, yeah. So because he stayed behind, the one guy was able to, like, look into his head and see where they were going.
Oh, right.
And was able to find them. But had he gone with them, they never would have been able to find them. Like, they were so far ahead. Like, there was nothing, like, happening that made him, like, he had to stay behind. Like, nothing was happening. He just, like, at the very last second.
Like that.
At the very last second, he's like, I'm going to stay behind. And they're like, what? And then she just kind of stares, like, at him and, like, accepts it and, like, nods at him. And then they leave. And then he just, like, basically waits around till the bad guys come because they're not really close to them. And then they end up getting there and they use him to find out where they went. And it's like, had he just gone with them, they never would have found him. They would have gotten away.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so pointless.
It's so dumb. I hate when movies do that, where it's like, we want to give this character a moment of sacrifice where he gives his life to save the heroes, or save someone else. But you're so focused on the sacrifice part that you forget to actually write a good sacrifice or a good story to help for it to even make sense. Like, that happens a lot, actually. The Nicolas Cage movie that recently came out, Arcadian, it was a really good movie. But one thing that really stood out at the end, spoiler alert, Nick Cage dies, but he sacrifices himself for his family, but he does so in such a way that didn't make any sense and that was completely pointless, and that he didn't have to do it, but he did it, and it was just dumb. But anyways.
Yeah.
Like, A Quiet Place is another example with John Krasinski, when he sacrifices himself for his daughter, when he yells, like, it didn't make any sense because the monster could still have gotten his daughter, and he didn't actually have to make that sacrifice in that moment. It didn't actually change anything or do anything impactful. But John Krasinski decided that he wanted to sacrifice his character to sacrifice himself for his daughter. It's like, okay, I get that, but there's many other ways you could have done it that would have been a lot better. But anyways.
Well, maybe that's why he's transitioning to a lighthearted comedy.
I guess.
If.
If well, they're doing. Aren't they doing Quiet Place 3? Well, they're doing a prequel, and I think they're doing.
I don't think he's involved at any point anymore with it.
Oh, really?
I think it's
okay.
I mean, he might be like a producer on it or something, but like it's not like his story anymore, you know.
Right. Well, this isn't Chronicles, so if you guys want to hear more about us talk about movies and things that recently came out, go check out our other show, Movie Chronicles.
Well, we wanted to talk about something interesting in this
right,
episode.
I guess so. Yeah.
All right.
Also, female superheroes usually don't work. She did not work, and this one she acted like a man the whole time. And at the end of the movie, also she had a girl boss moment where she unlocks her potential and her powers and is able to save the day, like always. And
what was that part? I didn't.
It was
in the end when she kills them, she didn't like have like a girl boss moment. She just like.
I think it was.
I mean, it kind of was, I guess, because she technically.
I think it was before the third act started.
Oh.
I can't remember. I can't remember exactly what it was. I had a hard time remembering.
The other girl had like girl boss moment after girl boss moment.
Well, yeah, she was just able to beat everyone up, no problem.
Yeah, except for the girl.
I don't know.
There was that girl villain that she.
Right. Oh, right.
Of course, this little girl that she couldn't get right away, but she ended up getting her.
I don't know. I maybe I stand corrected. I'm pretty sure there was a moment. I think it was before the third act started, or as the third act was starting. But I think it. Oh yeah, because I think it was, or she finally was able to reconcile her past and remember and know what happened with her daughter, and find out that Stick was actually helping her all along to teach her these lessons, and she figures that out. And
yeah, I guess so.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. This was not a good female superhero movie or done well in any way. She had some conflict, unlike other superhero movies or female superhero movies like Captain Marvel, she actually had some conflict and she overcame her flaws, and there's some truth, goodness, and beauty in the fact that she learns that choosing evil is not the path that she should take, and that the path that she should take is as one of a nurturer and a mother to this girl, even though that's not really how they concluded the story, because she just goes off to be a female superhero for the rest of her life or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just don't. It just wasn't good. None of this. Not much of this was really good.
Yeah.
And like I said, acting was pretty rough, and
yeah, for sure.
Dialogue was bad.
Well, if you guys want to hear us talk about something better, you can always check out our Patreon, where we do mini reviews, and you can support us there as well and subscribe. It's $5 a month, pretty cheap, cheaper than your Netflix subscription, and helps us keep being able to do this. Yeah, we talk about different movies, new movies, a lot of times that are in theaters or whatever, and do mini reviews on those. I think we got our 8th episode out right now, as well as a backlog of like 9 episodes of Movie Chronicles that are only on there and not anywhere else. And then we also talk about the Stan Lee cameos and end credit scenes when we have them, and it's a fun episode to listen to, and a lot more movies that we enjoy that we review there, and it's a pretty fun environment. And yeah,
for sure.
This week we're reviewing The Truman Show, and
classic.
Yeah, classic. That was submitted by one of our listeners who suggested that one. Great suggestion, and you guys can suggest more. And if you subscribe and you haven't been subscribed there, you can let us know what you want us to review, and we'll review it.
For sure.
But yeah, technically this movie was pretty bad. Acting wasn't very good.
Let's probably rate this movie.
CGI was terrible.
Right.
I mean, it pretty much matched Daredevil, which came out 2 years prior, and
Like matched it as far as quality.
yeah,
Overall quality.
pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's maybe a little bit better visually.
Maybe. I mean, Daredevil was pretty rough.
It was really bad.
Places.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Music score,
It
it was
fine.
all right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing to say there. Yeah, that was this movie.
Yeah. Well, let's go on to rating.
Yeah.
What are you thinking? I'm definitely thinking it's a 3.
Yeah.
The 3 range. I was gonna give it a 3.5, which
It's probably fair.
puts it above Batman Web and below Dark Phoenix. I think it's like right in the middle of there as far as just not being good.
Yeah, no, that's fine. 3.5.
Sweet.
Elektra 3.5. That's pretty low for
Glad we to
for
move
a
on
movie.
for that.
Yes, we do not have to come back to it.
Right. Because they never did and never made sequels.
One thing we need to talk about is
She'll probably be in Daredevil and Deadpool though.
Yeah, I know. There's been lots of talk about
Everyone's
that.
gonna be in Deadpool.
Okay, we're talking about Deadpool in our movie chronicles.
Yes.
But when this comes out, it'll have been a week ago. So anyway, go listen to it. And here's talk about the Deadpool trailer and everything going on with Deadpool. But in this movie, one thing that we glossed over, well, one, the women were all very skimpy and scantily dressed and just not very well presented. And then there was one scene where that one girl villain was kissing Elektra.
Oh, right.
Using her powers. And no, it wasn't supposed to be like a sexual moment or anything like that. But it still shouldn't have been there. It's wrong, and it should not be in this movie or any movie. But like, even though like this was like not a sexual moment, and it was like the villain's powers or whatever. Well, one, that's not her only power. She uses different powers and does the same thing to the other girl without kissing her. So she could have done that to Elektra. Right. Two, we know that kissing has meaning, and so just having the actresses kissing is just wrong and should not be in there.
Yeah, even though it's not intended to be sexual, it's still there's still a sexual aspect to it, and it's still slipping it in there.
Yep, for sure. And that just kind of adds to our 3.5 rating, which I'm sure you guys are not surprised by the way we've been talking about this movie the whole time.
Right.
Yeah, pretty terrible. Well, that is our review. I think we are all finished here. Go ahead and support us on Patreon, and you can listen to more there, or head over to our Movie Chronicles episodes and listen to what we have to say about just new and upcoming movies and stuff and just the film industry. But yeah, we appreciate you guys listening. We appreciate your support. And as always, just be mindful of what you're watching. Just know that your eyes are the windows to the soul.
Yep.
And what you're watching does affect you. So glorify God and watch good movies. We're out. Bye.
See ya.